Sagittarius, this will be your Tarot Sportscast for April 2021. This is the place where we ask the question, what sport exactly are we talking about? The answer, of course, is the game of life. And I know you're in it to win it, or you wouldn't be here. So the starting bell is already rung. Why don't we go find our seats and enjoy the show? Catch you on the other side. Let's do the Yang line first. Yang, gotta tell you, from the looks of things, the universe is gonna work you in April. Why do I say that? Well, first, Temperance, Major Arcana, and then Tower, Major Arcana. So let's just talk about those for a sec. It looks like you're involved in perhaps a process by which you are becoming the temperance being that you are. What does temperance embody? What does it include and contain? Well, first of all, is this level of your being where you are able to blend, weave together, homogenize the forces of your nature and the forces of the universe into something manageable on a higher level. It's not just like pouring water, or it would just show the angel in the Rider-Waite deck pouring water from one chamber to another, right? But that doesn't show that. It shows the water being poured is pouring diagonal, something that's against the law of gravity. But it's not against the law of evolution. And evolved you are, so evolved you should be, Sag. And so this is home territory for you, in a sense, because this is your card in the Major Arcana. And so your fire is what gets applied at this level. It's like, it's nothing more than synchronizing and vibrating at the same frequency as the universe frequency for the fire of temperance, where it burns. It's a matter of you just synchronizing with that so that you, what do they say, resonate? You are in a sympathetic, harmonious, vibratory conjunction with the nature of you equaling the nature of the universe with your fire. Fine. But it's not gonna work if you determine that you're gonna operate at a lower level, because if you want this, it's yours. And yet, you got to do your part. Cool. And then we go the next step to another fire. Maybe this little wherewithal moment going, I am who I am, and I know who I am and what I got and what my game is. Remember, we're talking about the game of life. So you're the sports figure that's walking onto the pitch here to do your stuff. It's the Olympics of you. Check in. Remind yourself of who you are. Remind yourself of your greatness. You're great, but you can get greater, right? And here's how, probably. So you spent that moment in time and space reflecting so that you could somehow be proactive with a tower moment, an abrupt change of the scenario, abrupt. And Marshall, Mars card. So there can be a sense of a confrontational moment that goes along with this explosive change in the scene. And if you are in your sport, and things like that do happen, when you're in the racquetball court, you may get a shot that comes off the back wall in a way that all of a sudden you're going from no motion to full motion, or you won't get the ball. That's what's coming. I'm not saying I'm predicting the future. I'm saying that's what's coming when you have that tower moment in your life. Some of you won't have, you'll be going, what was he talking about? And some of you will go, wow, I'm glad I knew in advance that that potentially was on the horizon. Well, it's probably not a matter of being for the faint of heart. Because if you have reminded yourself of your greatness, I know Sages, and I really admire and actually love Sagittarius. So what I love about them is their fire, but the type of fire, that archer mentality, you know, that moment, the Zen and the art of archery, right? That moment of drawing the bow and silencing yourself, silencing your body, and letting it fly. So when you get, if and when you get this kind of a moment where you need to embrace a tower event, just be who you already are. Stay in your center, stay in your peace, and watch it happen around you. There's something in there for you. Okay, what was that all for? What did I go through? All that dynamic, fiery, intensity driven process to remind myself of my greatness and then experience the tower moment. Why? Well, perhaps to have burned away from your outer shell that which kept you from understanding yourself as the Knight of Cups. And understanding that the kind of actions that you'll take in the future are going to contain that kind of a emotional self-awareness and energy. Your steed is a seahorse, right? So, I mean, not just anyone gets to ride a seahorse. It's yours for the taking, like I was saying. But I mean, I'd be lying to you if I said this wasn't a high bar, shooting for a high bar. So if your sports self in the month of April is up to the task or hungry for it, just go for it, because it'll make sense to you if it's meant for you. If the high bar experience is for you, it'll come forth and announce itself. And then walk in. You're ready. Yin. Want to talk about fire? Wow. Thought Yang got worked, but you're starting out just full of vim and vigor. Where are you going with that? Your feminine nature perhaps has allowed you to consider yourself more in the background, let's say. I'm getting the sense that there's some kind of reluctance at play here, where you have been unwilling to come out in a way that would show you to others, that would announce that you were here to stay, that you've actually transitioned and transformed into a higher level of your authentic self. And this card is telling you that shyness in that moment would probably not be appropriate. So good, walk forward. And I think what's going to get called, you're going to be called upon to share some of that. Once people know you more for who you are, in more of your inner circle, your protected family, even if it's just your earth family or your biological family, doesn't matter. But as soon as you're seen for who you are, it could very well be that there is a need to share it. And to carry the message of you to your surroundings and your surrounding people. And that's what the Page of Swords is all about. Taking the message that is within you, because you are thinking along with being, you're thinking about things, and you have airy qualities just as we all do. So your intellect is wanting to take the message of you to your environment. And here's how you do it. It's interesting, Yin has gotten the Page of Swords in, what did I just do, Scorpio? And here we are in Sagittarius, you're getting it again. Perhaps April is a month for that kind of communication from the sacred feminine. The sacred feminine as a collective may have something to say that's worth saying and worth listening to. I applaud you in advance for being willing to say it out loud. What's waiting for you? It is going to identify in this card's sense, it stands, there's no reason not to believe that it would identify by coming out to your individual authentic self, carrying that message forward, equals the solution of the equation contains your direction. There's something in there that points towards your future. What you will do, who you will be as you continue to manifest and evolve. I think that's enough to say about that because that's big. So let's talk about for you both the yin and the yang lines, the environment and the weather report in the stadium where you're going to be playing your game for the month of April. Well, it looks like it's all quiet on the front of your stadium. It looks like it's that time when you can see things because there's no turbulence. You can hear things because there's no ambient noise. You can feel things because there's a sacred level of like being embraced by the universe. That's what it feels like is the overall energy behind this reading for both yin and yang. I would say that it's probably super appropriate to feel warm, fuzzy, comfortable, safe in this month to dig deep into yourself, to be who you are and to be proud of it. Your obstacle is the High Priestess. And so there's this thing that is mentioned amongst many tarologists that the High Priestess, if you go to her and say, what should I do, is likely to say, you already know. So, I mean, I think that this is a two-prong attack. One, be willing to know what you know, and be willing to not ask others for a moment, to hold it, to stay close with it within, and let it bubble up your answer from your inner being. And that's the one thing. The other thing is, at the same time, be willing to let her take you behind the curtain. Let her tell you about some of the mysteries. Because you staying close to your well and to be available to the forces that can influence you will be open then to hear her when she speaks. Very, very cool that we've got the moon followed by ruled by the moon. And your asset, let's go back to temperance. So yang, I'm going to say that this is a reinforcement of the importance of yang energy. Like I was talking about the importance of yin energy, the sacred feminine, in conveying messages of authenticity. Well, yang's role in that respect, the sacred masculine, could be to be temperance, to be flexible, to be the homogeneous, the angelic level of being that blends things together, that creates connectivity instead of diversion, conversion. Can you channel that? That's a question worth asking. It's in your court. It's in your back pocket. It's your strength for the month of April. And then let's revisit the tower. It looks like yang. Here's like an echo of two cards in your line. Temperance first, and then the tower in that very same order. So there's something about that process that wants to be the big story about this reading. And remember I was saying before that if you were forewarned, you might not be in the tower when the explosion happens? Well, this makes it even more of a reinforced message. Number one, don't be there, but realize why you might not be there. Realize why you might take counsel from that suggestion. Why? Because it's heads up. It's living in the moment. And that actually is the ultimate goal anyway, to live in the moment. So, you guys, I told you, Young, that the universe was working you. The yin, okay, so let's say a collective of Sagittarius yang and a collective of Sagittarius yin, right? Well, the collective of Sagittarius yang is going to represent some kind of a forward-moving force in April, according to the game of life that's being displayed here. And yin, too, a collective of yin energy having something to say in the world. And even though this is not the month where Sagittarius is in the star chart, Perhaps Sages have a role, a major role to play in this world in the month of April. It'll be worth watching to see and experiencing the bliss that comes with engaging it. That's your reading for the month. So thanks for being here. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you next month. Until then, be well. Love you all. Bye for now.